Hi, I'm Michael Plöd. I work as a fellow for a company called InnoQ. We're a software architecture consulting company with a strong delivery background as well. My domain is mostly the area of domain-driven design, of team topologies and software architecture. And I mostly help my customers to align those domains together, bring back the business domain, align it with software architecture and the team organization. And I help my customers to establish that in a healthy manner. In my session, I talk about establishing architecture enabling teams, and moving autonomy into engineering teams isn't just something that you do for the autonomy's sake. This is a journey for most teams, and this goes hand in hand with a culture change. Very often in many organizations you have hierarchical, centralized architecture teams who sometimes tell others what to do, and in a more modern approach, we want to move that towards an enabling of those teams. And in my talk, I will talk about the typical paths, the pitfalls, and some stuff that you need to mind when you want to embark on that journey so that you avoid some common mistakes, and that's what the talk is all about. In my eyes, the IT space and many companies went through a journey. 20 years ago, 30 years ago, many IT organizations optimized for economies of scale. IT was a cost factor that also imposed different ways of working. Today, we see a strategic shift in many organizations towards economies of speed, where IT becomes a strategic asset, but the rest of the organization is still residing in that world. Reusability, central decision making, strong hierarchies, and so on. And we need to move towards that world of economies of speed for optimizing the flow of the teams, for optimizing time to value, being quicker, being able to react quicker on the market. So the old world very much stemmed from hierarchies, Taylorism. That's sometimes also embodied in salary systems, which I talk about in my talk as well, which I mentioned. It also reduced the autonomy of teams. There were people doing the work and others who tell them what to do. And when we want to move to this other world, we need to embark on a journey. That's not going to happen overnight, and this is what my talk is all about. Let me quote a guy called Alberto Brandolini. Alberto, who is the inventor of a method called event storming, asked the question, what goes into production? Is it the knowledge of the domain experts, or the knowledge of some external software architects who impose orders to teams? Or is it the interpretations of the developers who do the coding work that goes into production? Of course, the latter one goes into production, and the promise of more collaboration, more enabling, more coaching, working in mobs, doing pair programming is to reduce friction, to empower the teams, that the decisions are being made where they have the most impact. And this is what this model is all about. I think the most important thing is empathy. You need to have empathy for the people. You need to listen to people. You need to take concern seriously. You need to understand the context of past decisions. Every decision in the past was made in a certain context, and there were drivers for that. And I'm convinced that people had a high motivation to do the right things given the circumstances, given the context that they had back in the days where, for instance, decisions in legacy systems were made. So I think empathy for that is very important. You need to talk to people. You need to understand context, take retrospectives very seriously, and always have a model of constant improving in your mind, so that we continually learn. Just by being an external consultant or a mentor doesn't mean that I know things better than anyone else. I've just maybe seen different things. I still learn. I learn with every customer. And I think this is a mentality that is very important for that job. I always say conferences have bunch of tracks. Yeah, there's on the one hand the official program, which is here split up in 3 tracks. Yeah, but there is also another hidden track. That's the hallway track, how I like to call it, and that's the exchange at the buffet, at the booths of the vendors. That's the exchange between participants and speakers. And I think we as a community have a very high opportunity and a very big opportunity to move forward in the hallway track as well, to ask questions, to exchange ideas, to learn from each other. And I think that is the very, very big selling points of conferences like the Software Architecture Gathering, that also provide, on the one hand, a lot of content through talks and workshops and keynotes, but also to give people an opportunity to learn from each other, to have a chat, to give feedback, to provide feedback, to build up on feedback of others. What we already see is that a lot of companies started to take IT seriously, started to treat IT as an asset. I think we will see a lot of insourcing of IT capabilities for the software engineering part, especially in the strategic areas. I think that is something that will continue. Of course, the topic of AI is very present in every discussion surrounding future. I think we are very much in an experimenting phase here. I think there will be a lot of learnings in that space, a lot of dynamics that no one can forecast, but what I'm pretty sure is that collaboration between various disciplines and strategic acting on software architecture level, but also in the socio-technical space, on the organizational level, where we align architectures and team organizations, that will be a major, major driver for the future. Also minding the flow of work, identifying blockers of flow for teams will be a big topic in the upcoming years. And well, what AI is going to bring to the circus, let's see. Yeah, I'm curious. There is a lot of innovation going on there, and I think there will be a lot of failed projects, a lot of failed initiatives in that space, but they are important. Yeah, we learn from that, and I think there will be a lot of distillation going on. What are good practices, and so on.